What is up, everybody? It is Wick here, and today I'm going to talk about selling on Amazon. It seems like every day I'm getting questions about how to sell on Amazon, how to get started, how to get ungated and stuff. I'm going to go over a lot of that today. And this video is going to sound pretty negative because Amazon is sort of a beast to get into. So I'm going to be completely real, completely honest about selling on Amazon. And then you can decide at the end of the video if it's something you want to try. So if you're not familiar with Amazon, you can sell merchant fulfilled, where you actually ship the product from your home directly to the customer, or you can do FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. With FBA, you ship the item to Amazon. Amazon stores it in their fulfillment centers. When the item finally sells, Amazon ships it to the customer. There's prime shipping on that, so there's a lot of benefits to doing that. You do pay higher fees. You do have to pay a small storage fee if the item's sitting in the fulfillment center for too long, but honestly, it's very minimal for how fast these things sell. If you got good items, they sell so much faster on Amazon than eBay. They also sell for a lot more, usually on Amazon. And when you ship these items in, you usually put them all in a box. You have to label them. So you can ship a 50 pound box for like $8 to $10. It just depends which fulfillment center it's going to. Usually mine are going in Ohio or Indiana. I live in Ohio, so I'm not paying more than $10 for a 50 pound box just filled with all kinds of items. Per item, sometimes that equals like a quarter per pound. And that's because Amazon has made a deal with UPS where they get extreme discounts because they ship so much. So that's a pretty big benefit to selling on Amazon right there. But when you start getting into what you're allowed to sell, that's when it becomes a problem. There's a lot of brands that restrict their brand on Amazon, meaning like Sony. You can't sell anything Sony because Sony has restricted that brand, or sometimes Amazon restricts it. And that's because they own the trademark Sony. Basically, they have the money, and if they request that Amazon doesn't allow them to sell products from other sellers that aren't approved, then that's just going to be how it is, right? And then some categories like automotive or DVDs are just restricted because of counterfeit problems. You have to jump through hoops to get approval to sell in those categories. And I get asked all the time, what's best for new sellers? I'm not a new Amazon seller. I've had my account for 12 years, and back then it was much different. You could just make an account and basically start selling almost anything. There was a few areas that were restricted. I believe automotive stuff was still restricted. Maybe like health and beauty, which I ended up getting approved to sell in health and beauty eventually. It was a lot different then, and I'm grandfathered into a lot of things. Like I can sell Sony, I can sell a lot of different video games. I can't sell music or DVDs. If you want to sell music or DVDs, you pretty much have to get manufacturer invoices from distributors. So there's ways to do that. You can look online. I don't know exactly. There's companies you can go through. You can buy like 100 DVDs, send in that information to Amazon. Somebody will look at it at Amazon, and they usually approve your account. You can't use receipts. So if you used to go buy clearance at Home Depot, sell it on Amazon, they're not going to look at your receipts and say, hey, you're allowed to sell this brand now, like DeWalt, because you bought this stuff from Home Depot. There's this fine line where Amazon wants you to sell this stuff, and there's millions of people that do, and Amazon wants the money. They want the fees, that you're paying. But at the same time, if DeWalt complains, or a big company complains, or a customer complains it's counterfeit, Amazon's going to throw you under the bus. You are just a tool to Amazon, a way for them to make more money. They know that people are buying stuff from thrift stores, retail, and selling it. They put in the disclaimers that you're not supposed to do that you're supposed to have, wholesale accounts and all this stuff, but they don't check that stuff until they're kind of forced to check it. And a lot of their terms are worded in ways that they can just get rid of you at any time, ban you at any time. I was actually banned on Amazon. My account was completely banned. I have a whole video about that, so I won't get into it. I'll have it linked in the description. People are curious about that. It's quite the story. Just the summary of it is I got my account banned. I couldn't figure out why. Amazon wouldn't tell me why, but they told me I had to write a paper and explain the reasons why I was banned. I understand the reasons and how I'm going to fix, basically a plan of action, I believe they call it. And I was like, I don't know why I was banned. And that kind of stuff happens. There's kind of a saying in the Amazon seller community. There's people who sell on Amazon, and there's people who've been banned on Amazon. So if you're selling on Amazon, I think most people just expect to get their account banned at some point. So this is something you don't want to be 100% serious in, unless you're doing something like wholesale. which is a bit better because you're dealing directly with manufacturers. You're usually in the right. I done some wholesale. I actually had a product that I did very well with. I made well over 6 figures selling just one product. And then, long story short, something to do with the EPA laws, EPA numbers. The Amazon came down and removed the product. And by the time I got it back on there was a lot of competition. It wasn't as profitable. Maybe one day I'll make a video about wholesaling and private label and stuff, because I've done that some. And I've made some decent money with it. And I'm always trying to keep an eye out for good product opportunities. That's also very hard to do. You also have to have a lot of money. I think for that product, I sent almost 20 grand to a manufacturer in China to produce this product and send it to me. And let me tell you, I didn't know if I was going to get the product or ever see that money again. So it's very nerve-wracking. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. But again, all the best ways to make money are going to have hurdles you have to jump through. Amazon's no different, the wholesale's no different. So if you are a new seller and you sign up to sell on Amazon, you want to do FBA, you're probably going to find that 90% of what you want to sell is probably restricted. And again, I'm not a new seller. I've had my account for 12 years, but I hear to be allowed to sell in things, you have to get approval with the manufacturer, or you just sell on Amazon what you can, build up your account, your reputation, show Amazon that you're a good seller, and eventually stuff will start opening up. There's some things you might be restricted in immediately. You can just go to the Amazon seller website, request that you're allowed to sell the product, and Amazon will just immediately allow you to sell it. Now you have to watch a video and answer a few questions. The questions are kind of comical. It's basically you just admit that you're responsible for anything you sell and you know what you're selling and you know the rules. As long as you answer the questions in that kind of sense, you'll be allowed to sell in that category. So when you sign up, you can choose the free account or the professional account. Professional account is $40 a month. I believe you need a professional account to even do FBA. I'm not 100% sure on that. Things, again, might have changed since I haven't made an account, in 12 years. I also hear that the professional account allows you to sell in more categories. So paying $40 a month, a lot of people is not going to want to do just to get into Amazon. But if you have enough things that you're selling where you're making, $500-$600 a month, paying that $40 a month is definitely completely plausible to pay and still, make good profit. Back in the day when I was selling on Amazon, I was just getting all this clearance, everything I could thrift or get at garage sales I could sell on Amazon, throw everything at it, make just kind of crazy amounts of money. Now there's a lot more things restricted and it's just going to keep getting worse, I think. So for new sellers, it's just going to be much worse. I believe new sellers could probably sell used board games, certain brands anyway. Some brands are restricted even for me, like Fantasy Flight, probably some used books. Though a lot of used books are educational books that have restrictions on them. Maybe some used electronics type products, but a lot of good electronics. So Sony, and from what I hear, a lot of new sellers can't sell Sony. You see where I'm getting at? You see the challenges of selling on Amazon. Yes, you can make good money. Yes, you can sell things for more money. It gives you more opportunities, but there's also a lot of hoops to jump through, a lot of pain to go through. And honestly, selling on eBay, Mercari, and locally, there's still plenty of opportunity there. Most of the stuff that sells on Amazon, you can sell on eBay. So it's not necessary for people to just jump on Amazon, but you can also check the Amazon Seller app, which is not the Amazon Store app, it's Amazon Seller app. Once you get your account made, you can access that and you can scan products and it'll show you if you're restricted in it. It'll show you your estimated profits after the fees. So that's very handy. I guess the best thing to do is get a professional account at least for a month, just to see what you can sell. Go out exploring. If you're a big seller where you're going to be selling lots of items, I think Amazon is a logical step once you've sort of mastered eBay, right? But if you're new to selling, don't worry about Amazon right now. You're not missing out, honestly. Focus on establishing your eBay and eventually maybe you can move into Amazon selling. That's my advice. And people ask me, Wick, do you sell on Amazon? Why don't you make Amazon videos? I don't make a lot of Amazon only content anymore because of how hard it is for new sellers to sell on it. I feel like I'm showing like unrealistic stuff, right? If I'm showing all this cool stuff I'm selling on Amazon, making money. Of course, I find stuff I sell on Amazon. I'm going to tell you if I'm selling it on Amazon so you don't go buy it maybe to sell on eBay and not make as much money, or find something that sells on Amazon but won't sell on eBay and just kind of lose your money on that. You know, in my channel, I try to be 100% honest with this kind of stuff. I'm not trying to sell you an Amazon course. I probably should, because some of these Amazon courses, I see these other resellers try to sell as like, they're like sometimes over $1,000. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I could make a fortune doing Amazon courses. But the problem is that they're hiding a lot of the truths. They're trying to make it seem easy for anybody to get into. That's just not true. And it is possible for anybody to get into it, but at the same time, you know, it's possible for anyone to start a big mega corporation too and make hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It's just, you know, there's a learning curve, there's a difficulty ceiling to that kind of stuff. I should also mention returns. On Amazon, returns are very bad. You're going to get so many more returns than if you're selling on eBay or somewhere else. Anybody who buys on Amazon a lot knows that how easy it is to return stuff, and you probably return stuff fairly often. I usually opt to buy things on Amazon because of how easy it is to return them compared to some other places. Now, returns are just a part of business when you're selling stuff like this, but it's comical how often certain things are returned on Amazon. Now, if you're doing FBA and something's returned, it goes back to Amazon, not back to you. Amazon will then look at that product, and if it's still in new condition or whatever condition you sold it in, they'll just add it right back into the inventory. You don't even have to deal with it. You also don't have to deal with any returns. So, you know, you don't have to talk to the customer or anything like that. Amazon will just throw it in their automated process. You have to agree 100% when you sell on Amazon with all of their terms, which is, you know, just basically return anything for any reason. Now, if a customer does try to scam you by returning like a product that's not what it is, and Amazon doesn't catch it, you can contact Amazon and hopefully get that resolved. I've only had it happen once, and it was with like a $15 doll I sold. So I wasn't too worried about trying to, you know, get my money back. Basically, they took the doll's clothing and just sent the doll back. And it's like, I don't want to spend hours dealing with this. But anything else like that, I probably would have fought a bit more and, you know, tried to get some justice. So I don't 100% know how easy it is to get your money back if somebody, you know, scams you. And that just kind of reflects that you are a reflection of Amazon. You're not your own seller until there's something that goes wrong, and then you're responsible. You basically, most people that buy from you, they're not even going to know that you're not Amazon, that you're a third-party seller, because your items just blend right in with the prime price. You'll have the buy box and the stuff will just sell. And for people not familiar, there's only one listing for an item on Amazon. It's not like eBay where everyone has their own listing. There's one listing for each product on Amazon, and then all the sellers sell under that, and they all compete for the price. Whoever has the lowest price is probably going to have the buy box. They're going to have it on the main page. They're going to get the sales. So that's why I mentioned a lot of times when I buy these clearance products to sell on Amazon, the price just starts going down, because all these other sellers are starting to compete. One will price it $1 less, another one will price it $1 less. And once it gets down to this low point, that's just obscenely low, the customers start buying out the product because it's such a great deal. And then when all the other competing sellers sell out of their products for next to nothing, price will start going back up, and then eventually I'll get in and sell my product. That's how I do it. Sometimes I hold my stuff for up to a year before I try to sell it on Amazon. Again, that's not for everybody, because most people are just kind of do this part-time. They don't want to hold on to, you know, $10,000 worth of random clearance product for a year or year and a half to wait for a chance to sell it. But there's a ridiculous amount of competition on Amazon, not only from multi-million-dollar companies selling this stuff, but just millions of other third-party sellers. If you are a newer Amazon seller and you're having success, leave some information in the comments. I would love to know how it is for new sellers. I know there's a lot of new sellers that would love to know how it is. I just know what I hear based on a lot of my subscribers talking about how hard it's been. Again, I don't want this video to be so discouraging that you never try. I just want you to know what you're getting into when you try to sell on Amazon. So I hope that makes a lot of sense. And I guess the final thing I'll talk about on Amazon is the IP claims, intellectual property. If you're selling something on Amazon and you don't have permission from the actual brand owner, the person that holds the, you know, the intellectual property rights, let's just say DeWalt, you could get a IP claim, basically claiming, or a counterfeit claim, same thing really. same kind of consequence. And that's when Amazon will then say, hey, we need to see proof that this item is not counterfeit. And proof is invoices, permission from the brand owner. If you can't supply that, you could get your account banned. I feel like every Amazon seller at some point is going to deal with these IP claims unless they're selling their own products or something like that, right? Another thing on Amazon, there's different rules for having insurance, like liability insurance for your business. I believe I pay almost $400 a year for business liability insurance. It's like $1 million policy or something. You know, I just did what I had to do because I got a letter from Amazon just saying I needed to have this by a certain date, and they have systems set up where you can do that, you know, directly from the Amazon seller website. And you only need that if you're selling more than, I think, $10,000 a year, or you've sold more. I think it's maybe if you sold more than $10,000 in a month, you have to have that. So maybe not everyone will need that right off, so you don't have to worry about that if you're new. It's just something to consider if you're going to be scaling up an Amazon business. And again, if you're scaling up an Amazon business and you're doing kind of what I'm doing, just selling whatever you can on there, just remember that you can be removed for any reason. Like I was banned and my money was frozen. I couldn't get my money. I had to prove my innocence, but they wouldn't tell me how to prove my innocence. And what it turned out, I still don't really know why I was banned. Again, that story's in the description if you want to check that out. But it was a very frustrating time to deal with a system that's set up like that. It's pretty ridiculous. So yes, I have a love-hate relationship with Amazon. I've made boatloads of money over the past 12 years selling on it. I don't make as much as I used to, but I'm still making the money I'm not making on Amazon. I'm making on eBay now and other ways. So I'm going to continue selling on Amazon until I can't anymore, basically, till it's just not worth it. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments about Amazon. I will try to answer them. Maybe some other people who are new sellers can help you out as well. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button for me. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, flipping_junk. And this has been Wick. Till next time.